Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Today we have a brand new set of great stories for you to enjoy. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Sit comfortably. Here we go. Be careful what you ask for. You might just get it. I used to work customer service at a massive credit and charge card call center. We'll call them United States Speedy. Alright job, well paid, but with a lot of annoying customers of the wealthy variety. Had a lady call up and say immediately after passing security that she'd been hit with another charge from us on her account, and that she was sick of these and would like to close her accounts. She had 3 of these, and she'd been with the company for about 15 years. Had a quick look and could see that she'd had about 3 over-limit fees in the last couple months, all refunded immediately, and recognized that she was just angling for another refund on her latest one. Having figured out that the old "I'm closing my account" line was a good way of getting us to bend over backwards. Now the kick is that I'd have absolutely just refunded this fee if she'd just asked for it. It wasn't much, and I had the authority to do it, but she didn't. She didn't even say she'd close her account if we didn't refund the fee. She just immediately asked me to close her accounts, expecting me to plead with her to stay. And that got on my nerves, so of course I just did as I was asked, said brightly, "Sure, let me do that for you straight away." Immediately started the account closure process, gave her all the required scripts, and she'd receive her final statements. At various points, she had to give bits of info, like confirming her address, and you could hear the struggle in her voice as she mentally debated whether to back out of the corner she'd put herself in and admit she just wanted a fee refund. Finally, at the end of it, she obviously realized that she was being an idiot and really wanted to keep the accounts open and said quietly, "You know, I'd have kept my account open if you'd just offered to refund the fee." To which I responded with my best pseudo-flabbergasted tones, "Really, madam? Well, why didn't you say that? You're a long-standing customer, and if you just wanted the fee refunded, I'd have been happy to do that immediately if you'd asked. We don't have any extra authority to do things because you threatened to close your account. If we can refund the fee, we'll happily do that, and if we can't, we can't. Our policies don't change just because you say you want to close your account. But you said you were sick of us and wanted to close your account and seemed so adamant about your dissatisfaction that I thought it best not to argue the point, as I thought it would just make things worse." So she, a little happier now, said, "Okay, great. So you can refund the fee and I'll keep my account open?" "Oh no, madam. I'm afraid the accounts are closed now. I can't reactivate them. I can't even refund the fee. If you'd like to reapply, then you'll have to do so through our website. I'm afraid the accounts I've just closed are legacy accounts, though, so you'll have to choose from the ones that are available to new customers and that don't have quite the same benefits, I'm afraid. Oh, by the way, don't forget to let your husband and kids know that their cards won't work anymore. Also, it looks like you have 15 or so standing orders going through the card every month. You'll need to contact these companies individually and give them alternate payment details, else the payments will be declined. Is there anything else I can help you with?" And our next story. Treat me like my boss's secretary? Let's see how that goes for you. A couple years ago, I worked for a small team within a larger organization that ran a rather niche grant program. It was literally my boss, let's call him Charles, me, and 2 part-time consultants who did our finances/bookkeeping. My boss and I had a great rapport. He hired me to essentially run large aspects of our program and gave me pretty much unilateral oversight of the key elements of it. From program design and development to execution, he was a great manager in this respect. He provided a lot of mentoring and guidance, but mostly got out of my way and only wanted me to escalate the big stuff that I felt rose to the level. While I didn't love the job itself, I loved having so much freedom. I was sort of bridging that gap of moving from a young professional into a mid-career professional, and so this offered a lot of growth opportunities. One thing that made my boss great was that he always had my back. One day I was in the office pretty much alone. Boss was on the board of a few organizations, and he was off at half-day meeting. Our offices were right across from each other, so I could typically see him when he came and left, and I could hear his phone when it rang. That morning his phone was ringing and ringing and ringing. Then finally my phone rang. It was the executive director. ED from here on out, of one of the organizations we worked with, an older man, maybe in his 70s. The conversation went something like this. Me. OP speaking, how can I help you? ED, sounding frustrated. I've been calling Charles all morning, but he's not answering. Yes, he's at a half-day board meeting. Is there something I can help you with? I doubt it. Maybe you could just check his calendar and put a call with me on there for when he's back. I'm sorry, I wish, but I don't have access to his calendar, so I can't see what he has in the afternoon, and I can't add things to his calendar. I'm sure he'll be back soon. That's unacceptable. How does his secretary not have access to his calendar? Who sets his meetings? Now here's the thing. While I am my boss's employee, I am not his secretary. I don't have access to his calendar, and my boss sets his own meetings. Not only that, but I had corresponded with and even met this ED in the past. My signature block and business card clearly say Program Manager, as does my bio on our webpage. Alas, this wasn't the first time someone had assumed that I was my boss's secretary. It happens. I was in my late 20s at the time. And as a young professional woman working for a man, it seemed a common misconception. Usually it's not a big deal. Normally I clarify my role and people feel a little embarrassed, and we go on about our lives. So I clarified my role for the ED. Me. Just to clarify, I'm not Charles' secretary. He doesn't have a secretary. I'm actually the program manager. Charles manages his own schedule. If you want to shoot us both an email, I'll make sure he responds and set up a time to talk to you. Otherwise, when he comes back, I'll let him know you called so you can arrange a meeting. Well, I have an important question for him, and it's unacceptable that I can't set up a meeting with him. And I also can't get an answer to it right away. How is this good client service? Well, I am the program manager. Why don't you tell me what your question is about, and let's see if I can help you. The ED explained that he called to talk about the application process and requirements for a program of ours, one that I actually ran. Not only that, but the nature of his questions were not so complicated that it necessitated escalating to my boss. These were things I could easily help him with. Me. Well, you're in luck. I'm actually the one who runs that program, not Charles. I've designed that application process, and I would actually be able to answer your questions with a lot more detail than Charles would. He would just defer you to me. Why don't you tell me what questions you have and I can answer them? Long pause. Then in a patronizing tone, Young lady, I'm sure you're very bright, and I'm sure you want to be helpful, but I really prefer to talk to Charles. Why don't you just take a message for him for me, okay? Now I'm kind of PO'd. I'm about to tell him where he can shove his message when I see my boss coming down the hallway. So I tell the ED that he's in luck. I see Charles now. Let me go tell him that you're on the line and get back to you. So I put the ED on hold and intercept my boss. I kind of explain the situation. My boss chuckles to himself and says, "Transfer him over." I transfer the call and I can hear my boss pick up the phone. Chuck speaking. "Oh, hi there, ED. How can I help you?" "Yes." "Uh-huh." "Yes, I was at a half-day board meeting." "You have a question about which program?" "Okay, what's your question?" "Uh-huh." "You want to know about the application process and criteria?" "Uh-huh." "Okay, well, have you spoken to my program manager, OP?" "Well, she's actually the one who manages that program." "Yes, she actually designed the application process." "Sorry, ED, I wouldn't be able to answer that specific question." "No, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that." "Yes, that's right. OP manages the entire program. She's really the expert on it. Let me go see if she's in her office." I hear my boss put the phone on hold. He takes a long pause before he gets back on. "I'm sorry, ED, but it appears she must have stepped away from her desk. Why don't you send her an email and I'm sure she'll get back to you." "No, again, I'm sorry, but she's really leading on that program. You'll have to speak with her. I could transfer you to her voicemail if you wish." "No? Okay. Do you have her email?" "Great, so send her an email and I'm sure she'll get back to you on all your questions ASAP." The ED didn't email me for a couple of days, and when he finally did, I helpfully walked him through all the details of the program he was interested in. And our last story. Accidentally got revenge on food thief. I had this really great office job that I totally loved, minimal effort, sweet paycheck, tons of paid downtime, cool boss. The only downside was the boss's wife, who I definitely did not work for, who'd show up sporadically to boss me around. During Girl Scout season, I'd brought in a box of Samoas and had shared them with my boss. I left the box there after work, like with 3 cookies in it, to eat another day. My boss had a habit of working extremely late after I left, so the next morning I come in and find the now empty box with a hilarious and completely joking, nasty note attached, going on about how horrible it is to leave someone a box with only a couple cookies in it for them to steal. We have a chuckle about it. So I decide to get him back for the nasty note. Also in a completely joking manner, I brought in a partially eaten roll of Thin Mints. We had a bunch of cardboard laying around, so I traced a cookie and spent about an hour cutting out cardboard cookies. I put them in the package and put 3 real Thin Mints on top of it. So when you took the roll out of the box, it looked like someone had opened it and only eaten 2 or 3 cookies. I put the box in my desk in a drawer I kept snacks in and waited. And waited, and waited, and waited. Nothing. The cookies remained undisturbed. I kind of forgot about them. Then I get a call late one night from my boss's irate wife. She'd been in the office by herself, just messing around. She doesn't do any form of work for the company, and got hungry, and started rummaging through my things, which she had no business doing. She and I are not pals. She found the box of Thin Mints and ate the 3 real cookies and 3 or 4 of the fake ones before realizing they were actually cardboard. When she called ranting at me, she was PO'd that I'd faked her out with cardboard cookies, but had thought that they must be some kind of diet cookies, which is why she'd eaten so many before examining them to find they were cardboard. The next day, I showed up and apologized to my boss for the prank. It was clearly meant for him, and he totally knew it. That's when he told me that he'd seen the Thin Mints and passed because he can't stand them. So overall, prank not wasted. Every time that woman did something to make me mad, I'd just picture her angrily eating stolen cardboard cookies. Aside, I even tried to chew a small bit of cardboard myself because I couldn't imagine a normal human thinking that possibly could be a diet cookie. I honestly don't know how she swallowed one down, let alone several. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.